Hi. So in this video, we're going to get started making our own Lightroom catalog and talking a little bit about what a Lightroom catalog is. So Lightroom works very much essentially different from many other programs that you may have worked with in that when you're in Lightroom, you have to be in a specific file called a Lightroom catalog. And ideally, and what I want you to do for this class, you are in your own catalog. This is an actual file that you keep separately on your hard drive. It's not the application, it's a file. Now, if we go back to Bridge, you're going to notice that up at the top of this window, this is what we call the application frame. It defaults to whatever file we're in. That's the name that comes up at the top here, right? It doesn't have anything that says this is Sarah's Bridge. It's just Adobe Bridge, and it's just whatever file we navigate into, that's actually what pops up at the top. Let's go ahead and go back to Lightroom and look at how different this is. So this is also the application frame, but if we go up to the top, we see that there's actually the name of the catalog is up here. And in this case, it says ideal_student -2.lrcat. And whenever you see a dot something, that means it's a file. It's just like a JPEG or a Photoshop file or a RAW file. Happens to be an LRCAT, a catalog file. So you're in the Lightroom application, but you're also in a specific catalog. And what you want to be is in your own catalog. Right now we're in my catalog, and that's why it's all wonderfully populated with photos, because I put them there. And these are, or I told Lightroom about them, and these are all my own photos. They actually don't live in Lightroom. They live, in this case, as it will be for you, I'm just going to set this aside. They live on my hard drive, right? So these happen to be all the things, the demo photos that are in here. I don't have everything from this particular hard drive imported into Lightroom, but I have everything in this folder is imported in. I could import the rest of them. I'm not going to do that for right now because I want to show you how to create your own catalog file and import photos into that. Okay, but here's something that I want you to keep in mind. I'm going to come back to it again and again. These files, this shows you where the files are. It says they're on Ideal Student. They're in a folder called Demo Photos. So even after I import things into Lightroom, they don't move, they don't go anywhere in Lightroom. They go, they just recognize them at the location they're at. Now, Lightroom's pretty smart, and it can actually help you to copy and move files around, but they still have to live somewhere specific that is not in the catalog itself. Think about a library catalog. When you go to the library, and I hope you do, there's that electronic catalog, and the books aren't in there, but that library catalog knows where the books are. The books are on the shelves, but the library knows which shelf that book lives on. Now this is going to be important because there's ways that you can really make Lightroom mad, and it has to do with that idea of the catalog and the books. So we'll come back to that. But first of all, let's go ahead and make you your own catalog. We want to actually move away from mine. Now, there's lots of ways to do this, and I'm going to try to go over all of them. If you sit down at a computer and Lightroom is already open, and let's say I walked away, I left the building, but I left my catalog open. Well, that's not a smart thing for me to do, but you don't want to work in my catalog because your photos aren't in here. So if you're sitting there and it opens up and there's a catalog with somebody else's photos in it, you want to go to yours. And to start with, you're going to make a new one. So you're going to go up here to File, and you'll click on New Catalog, and it behaves just like it would if you were going to make a regular file, like a Save As or any kind of file. But in this case, it's going to be your Lightroom catalog, and you want to put it somewhere. I can't tell you how important this is. Beginners usually don't pay any attention at all to where their catalog went to. You want to put it on your hard drive and put it somewhere very specific on your hard drive so that you know where it is. In this case, I'm going to put it into this folder, which is my photo class and everything else photo file, the one that we created to demonstrate for the class. And I'm going to save it as sparseness photos. I'm going to make it pretty general because I'm going to import everything in this folder into. So it's all my photos. I'm going to let it know about all of it. And I'm going to create it. And it's going to say, okay, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it in a folder called All My Photos. And I'm going to click Create. Now, it sometimes will give you a message saying, hey, we're going to close this down. We're going to close down the catalog that's here and open up a new one. In this case, it just automatically went to that. It's going to close down my catalog. And I just need to skip this time if it asks me that. It's going to close my catalog and open up the new one. So don't freak out if it does that. It's not vanishing. Now it's going to open up the Sparseness Photos catalog. This is a brand new catalog. And the first thing you're going to notice when you get here is that it is empty. And that's because it's a new catalog and it has nothing in it because I haven't taught it anything. I haven't told it where my photos are or what I want it to work with. Now, you should have, by the way, this gets confusing. A lot of things about Lightroom are confusing initially, and then they become clearer. You need one catalog for everything. Don't make a new catalog every time you open up Lightroom, or things will get really, really crazy. You're going to make this catalog. You're going to put it on your hard drive. You're going to know where it is. And I'm going to show you in a minute, this is how you're going to get into Lightroom to start. But first of all, let's go ahead and put some photos in here. So the easiest way to put photos in is to add photos that are already on your drive. And so we're going to start with it that way. In the next video, I'll show you a different one. So I'm in the library. There's no photos there. You can see that. I'm going to import some photos. It's going to take me to a new window. And I have lots of options here. But it's going to default right now to add because I don't have a card or anything new plugged in. And I can go to my hard drive, but in this case I want to go over here to the left. This is my source. Find my drive. And I'm not going to import everything into this catalog since this is the catalog that we're using for this is the demo catalog that we're using for the class. I'm just going to put everything that I have in this class. So I can just click on that folder, make sure it includes subfolders, and make sure it's on add. What add means is it's just going to tell Lightroom about these files. It's going to leave them where they are. Now, since we worked last, I went ahead, I'll click this open so you can see, I went ahead and just put stuff in every folder kind of randomly, just so you can see that this is really full. There's stuff in each and every one of these files, and I'm going to pull them in. I have photo 29, everything else. This is actually, doesn't have any photos in it, but it's going to, it's recognizing it. This is where my Lightroom is. You don't have to worry about where it's going to because it's just going to leave them exactly where they are. It's bringing in all of the photos, and I'm just going to hit import, and this will take a few minutes. Depending on how many there are, it will take longer. You can see the progress up here. And first it'll import the files and then it's going to build previews. And notice down here that it's bringing them in and this looks exactly like the folder. I'll go ahead and pull this back while it's finished building previews. And if we look here, all my photos, photo 29 has these three. Everything else has Joshua Tree and the road. And I put stuff in all of these just kind of randomly. And so that's exactly what we have. We have photo 29. We have the 3 assignments. In everything else, we have Joshua Tree and the road. It's exactly the same. It's not bringing in anything else from that drive or adding it to the catalog because I didn't tell it to. I only asked it to bring these things in. Once these are in, I'll just go ahead and click into one of these folders. This one has the files that we were working with for 20 photos. Once they are in there, you can actually start working with them even while it's building these previews. You can actually start to look at them. You can actually look at them separately. There's icons down here. So if I just click here, I can look at the individual files. I could click through and look at them. I'm going to be able to go to my Develop module. We'll get there very quickly. Today we're just going to do Catalog, but we'll get to Develop soon. We can change the exposure, the color. There's a lot of complex things here that or simple and complex things that we will go over, and we'll get through all of these within the scope of this class. So once you're there, you actually have an active catalog. We'll talk about the print window in another module, in another video, excuse me. And we'll go ahead and just let this finish loading up. In the next video, I want to actually explain to you how to import photos directly from your card, and then I'll talk about rearranging folders, and then we will get to printing.